And we should be live.
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello. As we're waiting for more people to join, we have quite a lot of people already, actually. But as we're waiting for more people to join, let us know in the chat where you're joining from, where you're based right now, which country you're joining from.
All right.
Oh,
So
Portugal.
we see people from
There you go.
Portugal. Great. We
Oh,
have
Cape
Italy.
Town,
Oh,
Argentina,
okay.
Scotland.
Again, Italy. Interesting.
Yes. Cambridge,
Okay,
UK.
so we
That's
are
what's
very
up.
international, from US to UK to
Yeah,
Germany.
Sweden in the house. Yeah, I like that.
And there we go. Somebody's from dialing in from Shanghai. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Based in Germany
Um,
today from Shanghai. That's, yeah, that's what's up.
lucky you.
Yes, exactly. Switzerland, Atlanta, Georgia. Perfect. Um, Great. While we'll just wait for a couple more minutes. And maybe we should just set up some housekeeping rules, so-called. We have the Q&A section for questions and answers. We have the chat open up, but we would like you to, invite you to use the Q&A section for all your questions. And at the end of the webinar, we have some time to go over, some questions, but please note that if we're not able to get to some of your questions, we'll get back over to you over email. So we're good with that. Okay, a few more people joining.
I think maybe we can get started. I see a lot of folks have joined, and we'll probably see some more come in as we get started.
Yeah, of course. And just so you know, the webinar is being recorded. So even if you missed it, don't worry about it, because we will send you just the entire webinar over email, and once again, answers to your questions. So having said that, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get started. There we go. I'm sharing my screen here, and please let me know, give me some reactions, maybe some thumbs ups if you are seeing my screen, so we can make sure that everything works fine. Okay, just
Perfect.
gonna
We
give
have
it.
a bunch of reactions, so hopefully everybody's seeing the screen. Any issues, if somebody has issues, please let us know.
Yes. All right, great, perfect. Yes, I can see a bunch of thumbs up too. So let's get started. So welcome everyone to Businessmap 12, our live webinar of Businessmap 12, what we call the end of the trade-off. And before we dive deeper into this webinar, I just want to set the agenda very quickly. First, we're going to go through a short presentation. We have prepared some slides for you. Then we have a dedicated demo session where we've actually prepared some practical use cases that we'd like to show you that you can start doing in Businessmap 12. And at the end, we'll have some time for a Q&A session. And if you're joining right now and you didn't hear me say that, don't worry. Once again, if we're not able to get to any of your questions, we will get back to you over email. So having said that, who are we? Well, my name is Nick, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Gabe. And we've been working at Businessmap for over 6+ years. So I guess we know a thing or two about work management, but I don't want to bore you to death with our work experiences. I would like to, from the get-go, set the stage and talk to you about what this release is all about. So in Business Map 12, we introduced our AI Canvas board, which you can think of it as a creative hub. Creative hub where you can plan your ideas, collaborate, and for the first time ever, that creative hub has a clear connection to your execution. So let's start with why did we do this in the first place? And by the way, I'm using the canvas in Business Map to show the slides here. So ever since the conception of Business Map, we've always wanted to create a work management platform that adapts to your needs, regardless of your seniority level. Whether you're a senior manager, middle manager, team member, or even a junior team member just joining the company, we have always wanted to create a work management platform that fits around your work so you don't have to adapt to the platform, but instead the platform adapts to your needs. And after having thousands, literally thousands of conversations with customers over 15 years, we came to realize that there are generally two work management camps. The first camp is creativity and ideation. And this is the camp where mostly strategic planning happens. We collaborate and maybe we even innovate on these, inside this camp. And the other camp is the structure and governance. This is where project maintenance takes place. Maybe we manage workflows, we manage, our project programs, schedules, we manage dependencies and so on. But we have always seen in work management platforms that they have this trade-off between the two camps. So between creativity and structure. Or we could even say a trade-off between strategy and execution, because for a long time we've seen people do their planning, do their strategy in one tool while using completely another tool to do the execution part. And we believe that for a complete strategy execution to happen across your entire organization and for you to start moving your business outcomes, creativity and structure need to be in one environment, and there needs to be a constant sync between the two. So that's why we created Business Map 12. And like I mentioned, in Business Map 12, we introduced these AI Canvas boards where you can record your ideas, where you can collaborate, but the Canvas boards have a clear connection to the execution part. And in our case, the execution part are our typical workflow boards. So let's say that you record some of your ideas, you pick up an idea and you say, we want to execute this with just, you can create a seamless and very smooth integration, like connection between the Canvas boards and the workflow boards, so you can start executing your ideas smoothly. And of course, we did this with the end user in mind. So if you're a senior manager, if you're a senior leader, our goal is to help you see the big picture and at the end of the day, save costs, because we provide you with one single environment and you don't have to use multiple tools to drive your strategy execution. What about if you're a middle manager? Well, we help you finally bridge the gap between business outcomes and team delivery, so you can create an end-to-end management, visualize your end-to-end management from ideation to delivery. And if you're working on the team level, We help you save time from switching between multiple tools, and generally just helping you reduce complexity in your work, because the more tools you have to manage work and projects, the more overhead that builds up in your organization and complexity in general. So with that being said, let's get straight into the demo of the Canvas board and the Businessmap 12 in general. Like I mentioned, we've prepared several use cases for you. So we'll show you how we do OKR planning, dependency management. We're going to show you even how we do PI planning on the Canvas board, and even a strategic deployment through the Hoshin Kanri methodology. And we'll show you how everything is connected to the execution part. Uh, just so you know, everything that you're going to see are examples, and the Canvas board is flexible enough to fit around your work management scenarios. So having said that, I would like to transfer the stage to my colleague, Gabe, who will get started with the first scenarios. So Gabe, you can
Perfect.
take over.
Thanks, Nick. So let me share my screen and we can get started with the more practical side. There we go. So let's dive into how the canvas works in practice and some examples of what you can accomplish with it. I want to re-emphasize why this is one of the most revolutionary releases we've ever had. For the first time, we are introducing a new way work can be managed in Businessmap. Before, you could manage work in boards like this, where you visualize your cards, your initiatives, and you take them across your workflows. Now, you can manage, visualize, plan work using the canvas in any way that works for you. You can have that same workflow we just saw here as well on the canvas, and you can use it. So I can take this card and move it here, which would show up on the board itself. That's possible as well. Now, it's very important to note that the canvas is not something that changes the way work is managed in Businessmap. It's rather something that helps you evolve the way you work by providing options to plan better and flexibility in visualizing strategy, brainstorming, retrospectives, or anything else. You don't have to start over, so don't you worry if you're already using Businessmap. You can just take your existing work and bring it over to the canvas. Or the other way around. You can start from the canvas, create your high-level initiatives here, create your strategy here, and break it down across teams for execution. Today, I will show you some examples of what's possible. Keep in mind, these are just examples, and you can tailor the canvas to what works best for you. With that in mind, in this first scenario, we'll look at how to visualize OKRs across multiple company levels, from long-term company goals to annual goals and all the way down to quarterly goals across, in this case, three teams: HR, finance, and IT. So let's start from the very top, where we have a long-term company goal to improve efficiency and employee experience through digital transformation. If I select our goal, we can see how this is connected to our annual goals across IT, finance, and HR. So this high-level goal connected to these four annual goals. Now, if I select this HR initiative right here, we can see how this is connected to what HR is doing across Q2 and Q4. And if I select this IT initiative, we can see how this is spread down from an annual goal down to quarterly goals. Now, let's go back up. We have our improve efficiency and employee experience through digital transformation objective at the very top, our long-term company goal. Right below it, we can also see that we have two outcomes. What's interesting here is that if we select these outcomes, the first one being implement 5 major system integrations, if we select it, we can see how this is connected as well. So now not only we allow you to understand the connection between your objectives or goals, we also allow you to understand the connection between the key results. So implement 5 major system integrations is connected to what the IT team is doing, their annual goal, and that's connected to the Q2 goals outcome as well. And that connection, it's not only visual, it's practical as well. Let's take a look at the current percentages of completion. So this long-term company goals outcome is 20% completed. Same goes for our annual goal. However, if we go down to Q2, we can see that this is 33% completed. So let's open the outcome of IT teams go for Q2, and let's imagine that IT has done a great job that quarter, and we change the current value to 3. They're all done, 100% finished. Once that happens, if we go back up, we would be able to see how this affects the percentages of the outcome of the annual goal to 60%, all the way up to the long-term company goal, which is also changed. So this is what I meant by there's a practical side to this connection, not only a visual side. So we talked about how this strategic alignment view works. Now let's talk about reports related to it. But before we go there, let's touch on outcomes just one more time, because we saw how they are visualized. Now the question is, how do we create nuance? So below any of the goals across the quarters or across the annual goals, you can see this button, new outcome. If you click on that, you can directly put a new outcome right here. But there's also one more option. If I right click on any of these initiatives, we can ask AI to generate outcomes for us. So click generate outcomes, and let's see what our AI suggests. So in this case, we have 3 suggestions. Keep in mind, those are based on the title of the card, the description, and all the information you've provided. So as long as information is kept up to date, you get better results. Now here we can choose what to include. So in this case, I do want to increase marketing professionals hired in the UK and key leadership roles defined in emerging markets. So I keep those two. But the third one, role prioritization framework adoption rate, I think that's probably more appropriate for one of the next quarters, for example. So what I can do is I can just exclude this and add those 2 outcomes. They'll show up right here below our objective. There we go. With just a few clicks, we can use AI to generate outcomes for us. Now, let's move forward to reporting. Something that we are asked very often is how we can get a central place where we visualize our work, but also key reports that we use on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So key things that are really important for us. On the canvas, it's possible to do that. So it's possible right below your work to visualize reports that are relevant for your business. So since we're on the topic of outcomes, one of those reports which we have here is our initiative and outcomes dashboard. We can use that to visualize whether our outcomes are on track, at risk, off track, or already we've reached the result we wanted. So a quick way for us to understand what's going on across all the outcomes, across all different quarters, or across all different teams. Now, if you go to the right, we can see we have some other reports here as well, like a workflow performance summary, where we can understand the lead time, the cycle time, the throughput of the teams. Or if we go a little bit further to the right, we have a report which shows the work distributed by area. So we can understand how much work we have in the IT team, the HR team, or any other team we have. So today, you managed to understand in just a few minutes how you can visualize OKRs across multiple levels, typical lightweight OKR scenario. Now let's move over to the next scenario which we have, which is our end-to-end OKR scenario with an execution view. And let's continue with the next example. So you already saw three-level example of a lightweight OKR scenario where we have at the very top long-term company goal. Below that, we have annual goals and quarterly goals. Now, what's also possible here in Businessmap is you can also have your actual team workflows in the canvas. So we can connect four levels, meaning all the way up from the very top where we have our long-term company goals, down to annual goals, quarterly goals, and then to the actual work that the teams have. Now, let's see how this works in practice. If I take our long-term company goal and I click here, we can visually see that this is connected to the annual goals of the three teams that we have here: marketing, R&D, and operations. So in order to complete our next major product, marketing has to launch across the first three regions. R&D has to develop the core product features, and operations have their annual goal to optimize cross-team workflows. Let's focus on what R&D are doing. So across R&D for Q1, we have our initial product version. Let's see. This is also connected to some work on the team level. So we have some tasks here or some stories where we want to define core feature set, conduct internal demo and feedback review, and so on. Let's move the first one to design and see what happens. So once we move that, what we'll see happen is you see that this goes to in progress. Automatically the status changes here, and this affects all the way up to annual goals and all the way up to our long-term company goals. So in practice, you can even use the AI canvas for the execution part, or at least use it to visualize the execution part. Now, I want to talk about something that I'm, to be honest, asked about quite often, and it's related to governance. So the next topic that I have in mind is how do we enable some rules in our workflow so that there is governance? Example being something that would restrict the teams from starting work unless the plan is approved, or some document is attached, or maybe we have some specific information that needs to be filled in. So how this looks like in practice. If we take a look at our marketing team, we have this create pre-launch landing page. Again, we click on it, we visually see to what it's connected. If I try to move this to in progress, to initial design being our first column, you will see this message pop up. So what this tells us is that in order for us to start working on this, we first need to approve the strategic plan. So this is a rule I set up. And now if I go to the parent goal in Q1, I can actually open the parent, go ahead and approve the strategic plan, select yes here, update the cart. And now if we go back and try to move this, no problems. There we go. So that's a quick way for you to install some governance into your workflows. And as you saw, that appears directly on the canvas. Now, Nick already showed you some reports regarding the cross-team dependencies and OKRs. But what's very important here is we often hear teams that want to be able to understand not only the workflow, not only the delivery, not only how the work flows across the different stages, but they also want to understand the speed, the cycle times, and more in one single place. So the canvas allows you, for example, to have your team's workflow right here, and below it, you can have reports that are neatly tied to various key metrics. Examples here are, we have our cycle time scatter plot, we have throughput run chart, and we also have a workflow performance summary widget, which you already saw. And now what I can do here is I can go to the cycle time scatter plot, and I can even click analyze here and let our AI analyze the scatter plot for us. So we can get some insights on cycle time trends, patterns of delivery, and more. So that's a quick way for you to get an understanding of what's happening across your teams, not only the work, but also the data behind it. All right, perfect. Now let's move over to the third scenario, which is, to be honest, a little bit different. What we have here is a program increment planning scenario that I'd like to show you, and let's explore how we can use the canvas to structure this kind of PI planning scenario. And these setups helps teams plan iterations just like this. We have our iteration planning board where we can see the work of our example teams, team 1, 2, and 3, and we can see it planned on iterations. Now, have in mind that the work here is quite fluid, meaning some of it might not be committed yet, some of it it's still being planned, we are still figuring out some stuff. And this is why you can see here we have actual work, actual cards, and we also have some sticky notes. And here we have a pile which we can use to directly take a sticky note, place it on the board, and let's call this user story 8. There we go. Now, when this is committed, we know this is what we are going to be working on. We can convert it to a workflow card with just a click, right click, convert, that's it. You can also convert in bulk, so I can multi-select those and convert them. There we go. So quick way for you to do iteration planning visually directly on the canvas, and not to mention that you can connect that to, if you're doing OKRs, to the OKRs or anything else. What I also want to show you here is a common struggle at this stage of the team planning process, which is dependency management. Let's see how the canvas can help with that. If we right click, we can actually choose to see all the links. So let's see what happens. We visually see these red lines appears, and I see a lot of them pointing to user story 3. So let's focus here. Let's click and see what happens. So yeah, we can visually see that user story 3 is a prerequisite for user story 1, 2, and 7. So basically, we have to finish this in order to be able to start working on the other 3. So this is an enabler for us. If we don't finish this, basically team 3, who is responsible for user story 3, is blocking the other 2 teams' work. And let's imagine that this user story which we just created is also a successor to our user story 3. So now we are blocking 4 work items. At that stage of the planning, what this team might decide to do is take this user story 3 and move it over to iteration 1. So we kind of expedite this, move its priority, replan, so that it's finished as quickly as possible and we can enable the other two teams to continue their work. So this was a quick way for you to see how you can use the canvas for planning purposes. Now, you already saw reports, but I want to again show you that on top of having the teams here, the iterations, the dependencies, you can also have a quick summary. In this case, I'm using our flow dashboard, a quick summary of the cycle time of each team, their current work in progress, throughput, and more. So all of that is in one place. Now, let's move over to another part of the program increment planning, which is risk management. And what we often hear from teams is that they use the Rome framework for that. So that's an option. Of course, it's, as we said in the beginning, an example. For you, it could be something different. But in this case, what we have is a quick little space here where teams can use sticky notes for their questions or use sticky notes for identified risks, and then plan them over here on the Rome board where we have risks in 4 quadrants, so resolved, owned, accepted, or mitigated. So just like that, we can go ahead and move them to the appropriate place. Now, these setups gives us full visibility from planning iterations to managing risks transparently. Once the cycle is complete, the next natural step is reflection. And that's where our team retrospective board comes into play. So here you can find an example of a retrospective framework to reflect over the work during the last quarter or other time period. Have in mind that all that is in one canvas, the planning, the risk management, the execution part, and now the retrospective. Here we can organize feedback into 4 main areas: what went well, what didn't, ideas for improvement, and new action items. Each note represents a real insight from the team. You can just, again, take a note from the pile. And we can also vote on each item, discuss, turn it into a follow-up task. It's up to you. Once actions are agreed, they can be linked directly to the next iterations, planning, ensuring feedback turns into actual planned actions. And furthermore, here, what we can do is we can take all of those notes and get some takeaways. So what we very often hear from teams doing this kind of retrospective is that in reality, there might be hundreds of nodes here, maybe not hundreds, but at least 50 or sometime close to 100. So what you can do is you can use our AI to summarize the key points from the retrospective in a few notes. And just like that, we are going to get the quick summary with AI notes. We can then see what went well, what didn't go well, and take it from there. Now, we went over the PI planning, risk management, the 2 other scenarios, and we have one more, which, to be honest, is a scenario that I hear about often. People ask us quite often about how do we manage the Hoshin Kanri X matrix directly in Businessmap. So now we have a great solution for that, and I'm going to pass it over to Nick to show you around what's possible.
All right, thanks, Gabe. I am joining back in. Let me share my screen. And yeah, let me know if you see my screen, everyone. Just again, a little reaction. I think it's okay. So yes, just like Gabe mentioned, we've been getting, yeah, thank you guys. We've been getting a lot of requests about strategic planning. So how do we do our strategy deployment? And one of our best, like most popular and favorite approaches is the Hoshin Kanri X matrix, just because it's really useful and it really helps you visualize the most important initiatives, the most important things that you want to do. Now, keep in mind that this is just an image over here, but I've just put it just to very quickly explain what the Hoshin Kanri X matrix is for some of you who might not be familiar with it. But on the Hoshin Kanri X matrix, pretty much it consists of 4 spaces. So we have some metrics to improve here, and these metrics might be key targets, maybe main business KPIs that we want to improve. Then we have long-term objectives, which could be our breakthrough objectives. And you can think of these breakthrough objectives, uh, objectives that last between 3 and 5 years. So something really, breakthrough that we want to achieve. And of course, we have annual objectives. This is self-explanatory, I think. Objectives per year. And we have some top level improvement priorities, and you can think of them as the main initiatives that are aligned to the annual objectives and the long-term objectives which we want to execute. And these points that you see on the matrix over here, uh, these are actually to signify what is the alignment between the different initiatives. But like I mentioned, this is just an image that I'm showing right now. And having the matrix with the points, it's really Excel-like. So I would like to show you how we've developed it inside our canvas. So here we have a simple visualization of the matrix. Uh, Here on the right, we have some targets to improve. And once again, these could be our main business KPIs that we want to improve. Here we also have some breakthrough objectives, annual objectives, and top level improvements. So for the targets to improve, I've added several sticky notes over here. Once again, maybe these are just our main targets and we can start planning them. And just keep in mind that you can do the same with other sticky notes. So you can pick up some sticky notes and visualize them as ideas, for example, as a breakthrough objective. And once you have the idea over here, you can very quickly, just with a right click, convert it into a workflow card and actually start executing it. Maybe just like Gabe showed, place it inside a specific workflow and start managing it from there. But I've already done this here, and now this is one of my main KPIs to reduce carbon footprint per unit produced by 45%. And I can see how this is connected to this actually informs one of my breakthrough objectives. So the breakthrough objective on the top here is to build a sustainable and circular product ecosystem. And below, I can see how we've connected this to an annual objective to launch an eco-design product line with 30% lower environmental impact. And once again, pay attention that next to each objective, we can add some outcomes. And as I mentioned, we can use AI to help us generate those outcomes. Um, and now I've broken down this annual objective here into a top level improvement to reduce logistics carbon emissions by optimizing shipment loads. And to be honest with you, I did all of this breakdown again with the help of AI with this feature over here to generate children. And if I generate some children, click on it, there is a prompt that I need to give, and I'm not going to do it right now because I already did it, but you can refine your prompt and see what AI gives you as projects which are aligned to this one over here. If you want to create even a more refined example, a more refined alignment, you can click on one of the outcomes and again ask AI to generate children. And what this will do for you, it will generate specific child work items, maybe projects, maybe epics, um, whatever level you're planning at, but it will generate child work items that are clearly aligned to your top level objective. So like I showed, we have this connection from the breakthrough objective to the annual objective to the top level improvement, but we often get asked, okay, we can visualize this, but what about the execution part? So here comes the execution part. The top level improvement, I've connected it to actual workflows, which are visualized here, maybe with like our supply chain and procurement department to work on this top level improvement. And I've connected the sustainability and ESG team projects. They have their project over here, and we can see how this project is broken down into tasks. So once again, whatever you do here, it will be visualized directly on your workflow boards. And I want to show you how this actually works with another breakthrough, another top level improvement that I have. This time is for the product engineering department, but I've connected it to, as you can see, a larger, a more mature workflow for the product engineering team epics. So if this is the epic level, I can start, start planning. If this is in requested, I can start moving it around the workflow, and this will be reflected on the boards in real time. And once again, we see how all of this is connected to the team tasks on the lower level. And before, I would also like to mention the alignment between the outcomes that we can achieve. Keep in mind that we can achieve an infinite alignment of outcomes across infinite levels of hierarchy. So let's take this outcome, for example. I just clicked on it and I can see how this outcome is aligned to this outcome. So the top level improvement outcome is aligned to the annual objective outcome, and the annual objective outcome is aligned to one of my breakthrough objective outcomes. So if this outcome is, let's see, to reduce logistics CO2 emissions per product shipped by 18%, and my starting value is 85, my target value is 67, my current value is 75. Because I've aligned all these outcomes, and I've used a formula, an automated formula, I can just say, if this goes to 70 and save it here, as you can see, this immediately, right, updated to 83%, but all of that generated and updated the outcome here, which is 67% now, and the outcome here, which is now 55%. So once again, no matter how many outcomes you have across your hierarchy, no matter what approach you use to do your strategic planning, you can align all outcomes across infinite levels inside your organization. And this is possible with the whiteboard. And what's really cool about this is that you can actually see this alignment in a new way that we didn't have before. And before I end this scenario, if you're looking more into the reporting stuff, we can even visualize once again all these breakthrough outcomes that we have on the Hoshin matrix inside our initiatives and outcomes dashboard. So this is a dashboard that brings together the main initiatives that we're working on. Maybe those are objectives or maybe those are projects, and it shows you in one place, okay, here we have the breakthrough objectives, here we have the outcomes, we can see what's at risk, what's on track, what's off track, and we can also see the work progress here. And that's not all, because the board, this dashboard is flexible enough to contain multiple information. So you can visualize other custom information that you'd like here, such as cumulative sizes, who is working on this specific objective, who is in charge of a project, and so on. So having said that, I will like to just, I'm looking at the timing, so maybe it's time to take some questions. So let's see
Yes,
what,
absolutely.
yeah,
We have a lot of questions, so folks, have in mind, as we mentioned, we'll get back to you after this webinar for, well, many of them, but let's try to answer what we can now, maybe. So there was a quick question which we can answer right off the bat. Will there be training videos or similar about the canvas? Yes,
yes,
there will be materials, there will be videos,
yeah.
articles, and a lot more that will help you and your teams understand how this works better.
Yeah, and just so I mentioned here, yes, our goal is to produce really helpful use case related videos for you. So something that you saw here with the Hoshin Kanri, but other approaches too, like flight levels, how you can integrate and how you can map out your entire flight level ecosystem with the help of Businessmap. Another strategic planning approaches, or whatever you use in your company, we will take those and build them out as use cases, so you can, yeah, get trained on using this really revolutionary stuff here.
Absolutely. And there were some more questions here regarding templates. So maybe, Nick, how about we share in general what we can do with our AI related to this topic?
Yeah. So in terms of templates, you can use once again AI. So if I click the AI, so AI is, the board is AI native. That's something important that you should know. So any AI canvas board that you create, it's AI native. So you can use AI to actually generate templates. So if you click here, you can ask AI to generate you a template. And of course, I recommend you being, very specific with your prompts. There is, this thing, prompt engineering. The more specific we are with our prompts, the better AI works. But this is one way to, ask AI to generate these templates. And once again, like you mentioned in the beginning, we believe in Judoka. So using this automation, but with a human touch. So make sure that you don't let AI just do everything, right? Do a bit of human, thinking also.
Absolutely. That's key when using any AI.
Yeah.
Some more questions that we have here, and I think that's a quick one as well. Can I visualize dependencies between the goals of the different teams on the canvas? So, Nick, if you'd like, you can use uh, here the second scenario to showcase how this is possible.
Yes, of course. So here we can visualize dependencies between our objectives. We can also even visualize cross-team dependencies. So let's say that we have um, uh, this one here, roll out shared boards for all teams, and we'd like to make this connected to this one. So as you can see, I just built a cross-team dependency between my operations team to roll out shared boards for all teams, and for my marketing team to launch across final third region. Of course, this is just an example, but once you create this dependency, it will be visualized like this, and you can see, how the dependency is mapped out on the canvas.
Absolutely. And another quick one, how do we embed the team workflows?
Yeah. So yeah, that's actually the differentiation part that we have on our AI canvas. Like we showed in these examples here, and Gabe showed in this team like workflows example here. The idea is to plan on the canvas and then embed the execution part. So just by going over here, we can open up a board minimap, and that board minimap will showcase all of our boards across our account. So let's say that we take maybe the IT project and portfolio board, and we can click on portfolio lane and just embed this workflow onto the canvas. And if you're familiar with our management boards and what a management board represents, I just picked a management board from a management workspace, and we can visualize any type of workflows in the canvas. Actually, the canvas itself even has its own workflow. So once you turn a sticky note into a workflow card, you can set it up to you can set its status. Maybe it's in requested, maybe it's in progress. You can do that on the canvas. So keep in mind that the canvas has its own workflow, and you can embed different canvases together. Like I can embed a canvas. Maybe one team is working on a canvas board. I can embed it into this canvas too.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay,
Other
so I'm
questions?
looking at the time. We do have some other questions. Some of them are more technical. Some of them I see would require follow-up. As we said, we want to get back to all of you, so we'll follow up after this. And as we said in the beginning as well, please do expect to receive the recording of the webinar. Nick, I think we're about ready to wrap this up. We are right about on time.
Yes. Yeah, guys, thank you very much for maybe one more. Maybe we should share that regarding private
Yes.
canvases. You can build, on a workspace, you can build a private canvas and just use it, for your own. Um, but yeah, we see a lot more questions, and it will literally take us more time to answer them. So don't worry about it. Like I said, we'll take all of your questions, and we'll get back to you over email.
And with that in mind, thank you everyone so much for joining us today. Hopefully, you found what you saw useful. Maybe you took some best practices that you can directly start incorporating into your work. We are open to any questions after this, so you can always reach out to the Businessmap team. If you're already using Businessmap, Let us know if you have any questions about how to incorporate this into your current work. If you're not using Businessmap and want to see more, want to see how this works in practice, specifically for your needs, reach out to us. We're happy to show you around.
Yeah, and from my side, once again, sorry for the technical troubles that we had, but after all, that's the always the risks of doing things live. But we wanted to really show you live what we have for you guys, and just keep in mind that we will be evolving this canvas. Like Gabe mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, it's a new way of visualizing things, but it doesn't disrupt how you currently work, because you can literally pick up your boards, import workflows, and just evolve your work practices with the help of the canvas. All right, everyone. So, yeah, we
Thank
will
you,
once again
everyone.
take your questions and get back to you over email. Thank you,
Have a
guys.
great rest of the week. Have a good day or a great evening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.